I like to think that I know a thing or two about moving to a new city. During my senior year of high school, I moved to Atlanta. Then for college, I moved to LA. During college, I studied abroad in Spain for 5 months. And after college, I now live in Philadelphia. If you're thinking about moving to a new city or you're already in the process, don't worry, I am going to tell you my top tips to prepare to take the leap. For me personally, I thought the most challenging things were finding a new place to live, dealing with culture shock and homesickness, actually getting to know the new place that you live in, and lastly, making new friends, of course. So let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Joy and I'm so excited to have you on my channel. If you're interested in learning to navigate your 20s more confidently, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we're learning how to adult together. So we're doing this together and I'm going to be posting all of my tips and advice as I experience new things in my 20s. Today we're talking about how to prepare to move to a new city, so let's get into it. Before we do anything, I think the first thing that happens when you find out that you're moving to a new city or you decide that you're moving to a new city is that you want to do some research and find what that city is all about. So what I like to do is kind of just go on a social media spree. I like to go on YouTube and watch vlogs of people's daily life in certain cities. I think vlogs are really good because they're longer. You can kind of get a sense of where they like to hang out, any cool neighborhoods, all of that good stuff. So start watching the vlogs and like take little notes while you're watching them on where they like to go and places you'd like to go. Obviously there's Pinterest. Pinterest is awesome, but I'd find that that's more for like touristy things and kind of travel guides. But I would still use Pinterest because it's still a great way to find fun things you want to do in the first few months of living in that place. If you just want to get a quick Mod Podge of everything, obviously there's TikTok. Just go on TikTok and use the search bar and search for your city vlogs, your city things to do. There's so many different ways to just discover new videos on TikTok, and you'll also be able to possibly start reaching out to people and ask for their advice through social media. While doing it online is great, there's nothing better than talking to people. There's nothing better than talking to people who've actually lived there. So think about family and friends who have lived there before, or ask them if they know someone so you can talk to them and learn about like the safest neighborhoods, what things to bring, is the weather good, all that stuff. Like, you're gonna learn the most from people who you know personally. And of course, you should go visit the city yourself if you have the means to. So if you haven't visited the place before, see if you can take a weekend trip or a week trip there and kind of explore an apartment hunt. If you want more tips on finding your first apartment, I have a video on that, so I'll make sure it's linked for you to watch. So now that we've established kind of researching your city, let's talk about struggle number one, which is finding a new place to live. So this can be different things. Depending on what stage you're in, this can mean different things. It could literally mean you're in between a few cities and you wanna choose a city to live in, or it could mean you already chose your city and you need to find an apartment. Since I already have an apartment search video, for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna talk about choosing between different cities. If you're stuck between a few different cities, the best way to go about this is thinking about what opportunities are there for you in each city. So some people are choosing between different cities because there's different job opportunities, or there's different schools there for them, or they have different opportunities for their personal or professional growth. Honestly, I would just take an old school and make a pro-con list and use some of the research you did online or with other people to inform your pro-con list to help you make a final decision. I wouldn't get too caught up in making the wrong decision because guess what? At the end of the day, if something's not a fit for you, you can always move to a different city that you're thinking about as well. The second big struggle for me was once I actually moved, dealing with culture shock and homesickness. When we hear culture shock, some of us only think about moving. When we hear culture shock, it's not just about when someone moves to a different country or studies abroad and experiences a different country where the language is different and all that stuff. You can experience culture shock just within the US. Think about someone from New York City moving to Alabama, or someone from Texas moving to Alaska. there's gonna be things that are culturally different, and even though we're within the same country, it can still affect you and how you approach being positive and living in that city. So first thing first, I would just accept right off the bat that the new city is not going to be like your old city. Things that you like are probably not going to be available. Your favorite foods, maybe your favorite mom and pop store, favorite coffee shop, the way people act, their sense of humor, everything's going to be a little bit different. So I would just go into it knowing that it's not going to be the same. And as things are different, don't get upset because they're different. Try to think about the positives of those things. And obviously it's fun to go and rant to friends from home about how things are different. I think that's fine. I think just accepting it and still giving the city a chance because things are different is going to be important. I also bring up this tip because it's so easy to just place judgment on a new place after only spending a week, a month, or even a few months there. So I wouldn't let that first beginning phase kind of affect how you view the city as a whole. So that brings me into my third struggle, was actually getting to know the city. Beyond the tourist attractions, how do you actually get to know the city and establish a routine there that works for you? The easiest way I would think of integrating is thinking about your routine back home and trying to kind of match that when in your new city. So if you woke up and you went to yoga or Pilates back home, try to find a yoga or Pilates studio in your new city. If you always would grab lunch with a friend on Wednesdays, try to find a new friend to do that with here. Try to find parallels to help make the transition way smoother, and every now and again throw in something new so that your new life isn't feeling the exact same as your old life. Kind of doing the one-to-ones is only to help you transition, but eventually you're gonna find things that you like in this new city that you want to add into your routine. So the last struggle that comes with moving to a new city is obviously making new friends. So I'm definitely gonna have a full video on making friends as an adult. So if that is up, I'll link it. If it's not up, make sure you subscribe so you can go watch that video. But I'll share a few tips now. Making friends in a new city can go a few ways. One, you can make friends with other people who are also new to the city. This is a good way to make friends because you both are going to be excited about trying new things, about doing touristy things that people who are locals might not be interested in, and kind of just experiencing it all. But you also want to make friends with locals so they can tell you kind of about the history of the city. They can show you the best places, like the best bars, restaurants that aren't like tourist traps, and really show you what the city is all about. So I would think about what your interests are and try to find events, try to find conferences, clubs, classes, anything that deals with those interests. So if you were a dancer back home, try to find dance classes in your new city, see if there's any festivals coming up. Try to find things where people with similar interests will already be, and that will make it easier to spark up conversations, grab people's Instagrams and phone numbers, and plan meetups that are kind of related to y'all's similar interests. My other tip for making new friends in a new city is actually starting conversations with that kind of awkward, hey, I'm actually new to the city, I'm from blank, and I'm really trying to like meet new people, so like what's your name? Like actually like starting conversations off by kind of sharing that part about you that you're from somewhere else, because then people will have questions about you. They'll be like, oh, what was living in LA like? Oh my God, I've always wanted to go, or I have a trip planned there. You can help them kind of experience your city while they introduce you to theirs. Obviously, moving to a new city is exciting and scary and stressful, and you kind of start second guessing yourself if it's the right decision. But the only advice I can give you is to kind of believe in yourself, know that you will be okay. Like, other humans live in that city. It's not impossible to live and exist there, and if anything goes wrong, you can always move back home, but you will never ever regret trying something new and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So I wish you the best in moving, and I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions or tips, leave them down below, because we're a community and we help each other. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.